Today, I want to share with you some of my favorite herbs that I grow in my garden. Now, I love growing herbs. Usually, they don't take up a lot of space. They add a lot of pop, usually when they start to flower. They bring in a lot of pollinators, and a lot of them are perennial. So that means that they come back every year, again, depending on your climate. Now, under the straw here is one of my favorite perennial herbs, and that is chives. You can see as they come out here. They are, of course, we're in the middle of winter, so they're just kind of sleeping right now. Generally, perennials don't do good in raised beds. They prefer in the ground where the roots will be more sheltered and warm throughout the winter. But these chives come back every year right here, and they're the first thing to come back. So I really love that they're super, super hardy. I'm not going to dig up under all of this straw here, but they've planted a lot of herbs here that I'm hoping are going to come back next year. And two of those herbs are thyme and oregano. Now, these are kind of iffy in a zone 3. I'm kind of zone 3, 4, and I have had them over winter and come back. They do need a lot of mulch and, of course, being protected, but they are great. They are very, very potent herbs. You know, they're kind of the standard for those pizza sauces and pasta sauces, so they're great to grow along with your tomatoes. Now, over here, you can see it's all died back, but this is another one of my favorite herbs, and that is catnip. If you have cats, they will love you. One little plant can grow a lot of catnip, and then you can supply yourself with your own catnip because it is very expensive to buy in the store. But also, catnip is really good for us as well. Just throwing that into a tea, it's actually really calming. You can use it with children as well. So it's a great one to add to your garden as you begin to grow your own teas. Now, going along with the catnip is mint. They all actually belong to the same family. You can tell because they have that square stem. Catnip being super hardy, but I have had mint and peppermint, mojito mint, all those kind of mints, and they have not really come back for me. So I have down over here planted, this is the mojito mint, and I think one of these is a mint and one of them is a peppermint. We'll see what comes back for me next year. Really crossing my fingers. A lot of people are scared because it's invasive, but for me, I'm just like, take over and then I can harvest as much as I want. Again, great for teas, but you can also use mint. A lot of people who like lamb, I think mint's a thing to cook with lamb. I don't ever cook with that, and of course, growing all these things yourself, you're going to be able to pick them when they're at their peak ripeness or peak potency, and then be able to preserve them or use them right away in order to be able to have them all year long. You won't be able to tell, but this stuff here was chamomile. Now, chamomile is a great herb to grow. Got some seeds there. It is not a perennial, but it's what we refer to as self-seeding. So all of these seeds that have dropped and fallen are going to just overwinter, and then in the spring, they're all going to grow back up into new plants. This is a German chamomile. So there are a couple of types. I believe the Roman chamomile and another one called Lottie Land are perennials, but they're only actually short-lived perennials, so they'll live 2-3 years again. They will self-seed and grow more in that same spot. Now, the last 3 herbs I want to talk about are what are called annuals. So you plant them in the spring and you harvest them, and then they die that fall. You have to replant them every year. First one is parsley. This is a great addition to your garden. I like to use it in the place of cilantro because I'm not a big cilantro fan. And a lot of people think of parsley as a garnish, but it is actually very healthy for you, super high in vitamin C. And it's just another really good herb I like to have on hand, dried in my tea collection. And we can't forget dill. It's a very important staple in my garden. It's actually a self-seeding annual. So if you let it go to seed and fall, it'll come back. I have dill that pops up in my garden all the time. And just a great one, if you're making pickles, you grow the dill. To me, dill is such a summery flavor. I love to add it to like salads and all that kind of stuff, just to kind of give that taste of summer. And then lastly, let's talk about basil. I love basil. There are so many different types of basil. You got Genovese basil, you got cinnamon basil. There's also Tulsi, which is holy basil, and that one's really good to have for medicinals for your teas and stuff like that. Last year I grew one which was really cool, lettuce leaf basil. It's just a really, really huge leaf. You can use it for like lettuce wraps. So I just really encourage you, as we're kind of in that planning your garden next year stage, to think about adding these herbs to your garden. They work really well with intercropping, planting them all amongst your stuff, and then getting some of these perennials established so they can start to grow and really give you some good harvests for years to come. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.